Hello and what's up everyone, Thunderbob here, and I'm playing some more Diablo 2 Resurrected tonight. I am covering a build that I actually ran a while back on a video with a little bit different gear setup. This is a Blizzard Firewall Sorceress. So I did a video like a week ago that was Orb Firewall versus Blizzard Firewall, kind of using like middle of the road gear like Tal, Rasha's armor, and Set, and Shaco, and Aki, and that kind of stuff. And Then I did another build that was my Orb Firewall build with kind of like maximum possible orb damage. And I want to do like a comparison. This is that Blizzard Firewall build with maximum possible Blizzard damage, and just using Firewall basically for immunities and things like that. So here I am. This is pretty close to maximum Blizzard damage. I think there's one piece that I wasn't able to get, but otherwise, that's bothering me. Otherwise, it's pretty close to max Blizzard damage, and it is about 18,000 damage, 17 to 18,000 damage. We'll go through the gear real quick here. Death Fathom with a facet in it. Nightwing's Veil, again with a facet. Ormus Robes with a facet and +3 Blizzard on it. I've got just a ridiculous Sorceress Amulet, and I realize the skill level on here is messed up. This is a really old item that I've carried with me. I don't remember where I got it from. I think it must have been hacked originally because of that required level on it. But these stats are attainable. You can get, that FCR on a +2 caster crafted amulet. Perfect would probably be to drop that mana and put like plus resistance on it, but that's pretty good amulet. I've got a 4-socket Monarch with 4 facets in there. That's 20% increased cold damage and -20 enemy resistance. Just some boots to make up for some of my low resistance here. SOJ. This is something different from the last time when I did that orb run through. Snow Clash, I think, is probably the best belt because of the +2 to Blizzard. And then Mage Fist just for the FCR. There's not really a great cold glove that I'm aware of, but this gives you a little bit more FCR. And to look at the skills here, so that is a level 47 Blizzard. The only point that I'm aware of I'm missing is I could have a +3 amulet, which would take me to 48. So this is not truly the maximum, but it's pretty close. And I think the stats on that rare kind of make up for getting that one skill point. I only have 1 point in Cold Mastery because when you add up all of my Pierce items, I get 165, and I think that's plenty. So you got Blizzard maxed. I actually maxed all of the synergies just to max out my Blizzard damage here. And then 1 in Cold Mastery just because I didn't think I needed more than 165%. I could, put some more points in there, taking them away from one of the synergies. Got my 3 core lightning. I get the 1 in frozen armor. And then on the fire tree, got down to Firewall maxed, 1 point Fire Mastery, 1 point Warmth. I actually didn't end up maxing these. I decided on this I'm going to try straight up Blizzard and all synergies, and then see if I can get by with about a 7,000 damage Firewall, which I think will be plenty to deal with any fire immunes. It actually will probably be faster this way than if I was to split more points into Firewall. Now I am just going to acknowledge that I'm not hitting the breakpoint I need to get 105 FCR. That would be kind of the targeted breakpoint. With this gear, I'm going really for maximum damage, and the only thing you benefit with the FCR is like teleport, or on left click I've got Ice Blast. Most of my skills are on cooldown and don't benefit greatly from it. But you could switch out to, if I put Spirit on here, and then I've got enough FCR for that last breakpoint. And on Battle.net, I don't know that, this is a very expensive item, and the facets are very expensive. I probably wouldn't run this online. This is really just for testing purposes. I would probably run Spirit. It's way cheaper, and actually between the FCR, the FHR, the resistance, you're probably going to have a lot better survivability and maybe a better time. But if you just like big numbers, this is where it's at. Okay, so here we go. We're going to see if we can kill Diablo with a level 47 Blizzard. I think we can do it, guys. I know we can do it. And again, that's 17, almost 18,000 blizzard damage. Just going through my hotkeys here. I usually run orb firewall, so blizzard firewall is a little bit... Your muscle memory wants to do the thing you've been doing for weeks, so I apologize if I'm just a little bit rusty at this setup here. I have been running the other one with orb on my left and firewall on my right. And yeah, blizzard basically just destroys everything in usually one volley here. And then firewall is great to take out the casters. Those are the main cold mean you run into, and generally they go down in like a single firewall, and usually in a single tick, even with this like 7,000 damage firewall I've got here. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. I do think my online character, for a long time I was going higher firewall than like the orb or blizzard synergies. Like a lot of people were saying, no, you should really push, you know, orb or blizzard and then just use firewall for backup. And I was really pushing my firewall as much as possible because I was enjoying seeing, like, you know, Endariel dying in literally 1 second, or you know, Mephisto dying in 2 rounds of firewall. But I've come to realize getting better speed on all the trash is maybe more beneficial, so I think I'm going to be running online on my Petalnet Sorceress. I think I'm going to go with Orb Firewall, but go with the Orb synergies and put a few more points into Cold Mastery, and then basically use Firewall. Not completely unsynergized, but I'll have fewer points in those synergies, but then max my orb damage. I think that's probably a good compromise. I think that Firewall, you know, as long as you're doing between like 5 and 10,000 damage, you're pretty much one-shotting anything in a player 1 difficulty game. Now, if I was doing player 8, then maybe I would consider changing that up. Like, I think this Blizzard build is probably better in the player 8. Like, for player 1, it's just dealing more damage than you need. In player 8, it's probably at the right point where you could reasonably do it solo, and then you still have a decent firewall to deal with. Have you guys run into this before? It will not... There it goes. It would not let me activate the seal there. But that's my thoughts right now after running this. Obviously, I've done like 3 or 4 videos on these builds in the last 2 weeks. I apologize if you're finding these boring, but I do have some other videos as well. I've got a Ranger Paladin I'm putting together. My Smite Zeal Paladin is in Hell difficulty, and don't die. Is in Hell difficulty, and I'll probably be doing Ubers online before too long. And then I've got a Trap Assassin, which just got into Nightmare, and I'll probably do like a 2 or 3 hour session and get her into Hell difficulty here pretty soon. But I've got a lot of ideas for these single player, you know, high-end builds, which I'm mostly using just to see what can be done, and then later integrate them into like my BattleNet plans. So I've got some thoughts, especially with the increased attack speed, you know, bugs that people have. I clicked the wrong thing there. The IAS differences that people have kind of demonstrated, where the old breakpoints from Diablo 2 are no longer valid. And I'm kind of curious how I could exploit that. Maybe Bear Sorceress with just ridiculous, like, it was already ridiculous, but even more ridiculous attack speed, or maybe Trapper, where you can lay all your traps in literally, you know, 1 second. I don't know. There's some ideas I've got, and I'll probably be doing some video to demonstrate that in the not too distant future. And where's Diablo? Did I forget to hit the seal down south when I was going through? Or did it bug out and not actually click? I got this one. And, yep, I'm an idiot. Like the Rodney Dangerfield of Diablo 2 streaming. Okay, now we can kill Diablo. I'll have to watch that video. I wonder if it did that thing where I clicked it and it didn't activate and I didn't notice.
Not even death can save you from me.
And wow, Diablo dies fast with an 18,000 damage blizzard. Alright, so we'll move on to Baal from here. So here we go. And I have done this before on this character, so I do have the map revealed. If you don't play single player much, that is how it works. The maps don't reset between runs. Kind of nice if you can get a good map. Like, actually, this is quite a nice one. And get full immune with my Firewall, and even at 7,000 damage, it's one tick and it kills them. So even if that was 50,000 damage, I would not kill those enemies any quicker. So something to keep in mind. And here we go, Blizzard. Blizzard, something to keep in mind is if you drop it around walls or these pillars, a lot of the damage gets eaten up because it's not able to hit the enemies. Someone pointed that out in the last video, and it's something like, it was in the back of my head, but I hadn't really considered my targeting and placement. So just something to think about. And these fire immunes are kind of a pain in the butt. Even though I'm dealing enough damage to literally instantly kill them, they're spread out enough that I've got to individually target them. I should be running some rejuvenation potions because I got enough life that these red juices aren't really cutting it. Don't want my merc to die here. Okay. I'm not like going for a speed run or anything. I'm actually, it's a little harder to talk and explain while you're playing. That was quick. Than just to play like on Battle.net with considerably lesser gear. I can do Baal in like 3 minutes or so in player 1 difficulty, like when I'm really focused on it. This is probably going to be longer than that, but dual immune. Hey, oh, no longer dual immune. I didn't think the infinity provided conviction was enough to break. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I didn't think it was enough to break the immunity for that level of enemy. And I totally forgot to use my call to arms the entire run, but I didn't really need it, so. And Baal is not quite as fast as Diablo. I think his cold resist might be a little bit higher, but yeah, I don't think you even needed to pull out Firewall here. I'm feeling this much damage, and I've got no Magic Find, so crap drops. And that is something to keep in mind. This build is definitely going for maximum possible damage. This is not the build I run online. I run a Magic Find build that's using 3 pieces of Tel Rasha, Shaco, Oculus, Geeds, War Travelers to hit around 450 Magic Find. This is running like no Magic Find. So that's just something to keep in mind. If this build is really about like showing off and like, hey, I can deal almost 20,000 damage a Blizzard. Look at me. But if you're actually looking for items, you know, that lower end set or kind of a middle ground between the two, like maybe throw on Death Fathom or Nightwing Veil in place of your Oculus or something. Like, you know, you could get good Magic Find and decent damage. They're not mutually exclusive. But I'm going to end it here. If you like this video, I've got a ton of other Diablo 2 Resurrected content on the channel and a lot of other new releases, retro games and stuff. Check it out if you like it. Think about subscribing. Again, thank you for watching. Have a good night.